So, as I said, many wonderful presentations. I hope that ours about tubular capsules from Viminacium lives up to standards, and we are not moving too far away from the territory Anna was telling us about. So you can see here marked on the map of Europe where Viminacium is. It was a Roman city on the frontier of the Roman Empire on the Danube River in what is nowadays Serbia at the northern end of the Balkans. When we zoom in a little bit, we can see that it is located some 100 kilometers down the Danube from Belgrade, near the modern town of Kostolac, near the confluence of another important river, Velika Morava. Its favorable geographical location was the main reason for the prosperity of the city. It was connected to western and eastern provinces of the empire, as well with Greece to the south, giving the city cosmopolitan character. Viminacium was founded during the second half of the first century as a legionary camp of the Legio Septima Claudia, which remained stationed here until the end of classical antiquity. A civil settlement emerged next to the camp, and over several centuries it grew to become the largest city and the administrative center of the province of Mesia Superior. Excavations of Viminacium for more than 1 century have mostly been of a salvage nature, concentrated on the surroundings of the legionary fort of the city, endangered by substantial coal mining activities in the area. Necropoles were located in these surroundings, so the result of these excavations is around 14,000 excavated graves and tombs, giving us unparalleled data set for research. More than 35,000 items of various materials and functions have been discovered. Some of these objects that have been discovered in graves are the focus of these presentation. Cylindrical, hexagonal, and pentagonal shaped amulets, or to be more precise, amulet cases, also known in the literature as tubuli, made from silver and bronze, all of which were found as pendants in graves in the Viminacium's cemeteries. The practice of wearing tubular capsules with specific contents has its origins in the worlds of Egyptians and Phoenicians, later adopted by Greeks and Romans. One of the early names for these amulets is associated with the Greek word for reed, syrinx or kalamos, matching the shape of these cylindrical metal cases, in all probability showing that earliest examples were made of organic materials. Finds from the Middle and New Kingdoms include garnet beads and seeds, while Phoenician capsules contained fragrant wood branches, pieces of iron, mica, and crushed insect wings. Gold and silver specimens from the Eastern Mediterranean date back to the 7th and 6th centuries BC, while bronze and lead versions appeared later in the West. Some capsules from the Roman period contained herbal seeds or other organic materials like resin and beeswax, and also mineral substances like sulfur and hematite, believed to have protective powers for both the living and the dead. Sulfur, for instance, was found in a cylindrical capsule from the Thetford Treasure. Total of 9 amulet cases of the type we are presenting today have been found at Viminacium. In one case, there were 3 specimens in one burial, which we will pay attention to soon, while 5 other graves yielded singular examples. The remaining tubulus was found in the territory of the necropolis, possibly originating from a destroyed burial. Majority of these come from the southern and eastern necropoles of the city, with 1 specimen from the northeast one. As I said, 3 small fragmented cylindrical pendants of silver with loops for attaching were found in a grave in the eastern necropolis. The grave was constructed from vertically placed roof tiles with 4 more horizontally arranged as a cover. The deceased woman between 30 and 35 years of age was buried on her back with arms bent at the elbows and hands placed on her abdomen. Necklaces, one made of gold with multicolored beads of glass and a heart-shaped pendant, and another with 323 beads of glass, stone, and amber, were wrapped 3 times around her neck with various pendants, including 3 fragmented tubular pendants, which you can see on her collarbone here and also in the middle of the chest, and also a silver monetary medallion with illegible bronze coin, a silver pendant with a purple stone, and a medallion with a cameo representing Medusa were found also as a parts of this necklace. There were also one silver ring with a gem, a gold earring, bronze coin minted in Nicaea during the 3rd century, and a glass toiletry bottle with blueberries at the bottom. The small diameters of the tubuli in this grave possibly suggest that they contained only organic or mineral ingredients and not some other finds, like in larger capsules of silver and bronze, which are more common and often contain, these are actually the finds from the grave that I was telling you about. And as I said, larger capsules of silver and bronze are more common and often contained rolled up miniature silver or gold plates with inscribed magical messages or symbols, and these were called Lamellae. Greek magical texts on Lamellae appeared at the end of the 1st century BC and early 1st century CE, with examples from Pontus, Macedonia, Syria, and Lebanon. Of all of the mentioned tubuli, Lamellae with magical inscriptions from Viminacium were found in 3. One of them you can see in these pictures here, and it was from a grave on the northeastern necropolis. This grave was covered by pieces of amphora and also with roof tiles, and beneath the covering was the skeleton of a child about 4 years old laid on its back. Near the skull, 3 iron nails were found, possibly indicating burial in a wooden coffin. The skeleton was in poor state of preservation. The skull was fragmented. Only parts of other bones could be found, as you can see on the lower photo. But beneath the jaw, there was a silver tubulus, and it was slightly damaged. One end was damaged, so it was easy to see the scroll inside of it. It was made out of gold, and it was inscribed with Greek letters. As you can see, the inscription was written in 10 columns, contains the names of several deities with their epithets. Some of them are Tobarabau, Seneselam, Sesenge Faranges, Sesen, son of Faranges, who was a renowned magician in the ancient times, so he was also called to help. This type of magical amulet represents a pantheistic invocation of divine names, written in the vocative case, aimed at ensuring general protection for the owner during life and after death. These are all magical names, the so-called voces magicae, which may be names of gods or other supernatural creatures like demons, etc. The expectation of protection after death is suggested by a schematic drawing beneath the text, which some authors interpreted as a funeral bed with the deceased on a boat. The amulet was not personalized, but was meant for any owner, regardless of gender and age. Similar lamellae with names of the same deities, albeit in a different order, have been found at 2 other locations, Hermopolis Magna in Upper Egypt and Roman Camp Gelduba, what is nowadays Germany, between Düsseldorf and Duisburg. Evidently, these amulets, like the one from Viminacium, were copied from the same, now lost, magical manual. The deities of the Aramaic, Hebrew, Babylonian, and Egyptian pantheons, recognized on the phonetic inscriptions from the Viminacium gold lamella, suggest that these were solar deities associated with the sun, light, and eternity. Only the Egyptian god, or rather the spirit of darkness, Panchuchi, is mentioned, protecting the wandering soul of the deceased in the underworld. Therefore, the deceased or their loved ones invoked certain solar deities to protect the departed in the afterlife, while also seeking the protection of the spirit of darkness to prevent the soul from wandering in the underworld. The second tubulus, with magical inscriptions, contained 2 scrolls, one of gold and the other of silver. Pentagonal in shape, it was crafted from thin bronze sheet metal. It was found in a grave in the southern necropolis of Viminacium, and it lay near the feet of a plain burial of the woman that was between 25 and 35 years of age. The bones were poorly preserved. Apart from the tubulus, a bronze earring was found near the head. 3 bronze coins were also found in the grave, 2 belonging to Constantine II and 1 to Constantine I, dating the grave earliest to the 4th decade of the 4th century. Also, there was 1 glass vessel. The gold lamella from the mentioned amulet case contains a series of magical symbols, signs, a total of 26, including 7 resembling the letter B or beta, 3 resembling the Greek delta, and 3 of rectangular shape with 2 intersecting lines. The silver lamella also contains a series of magical symbols inscribed horizontally on 7 lines with total of 45 symbols. Recognizable are astral signs, including 4-pointed, 6-pointed, and 8-pointed stars with circles at the ends, as well as Greek letters beta, epsilon, delta, etc. And similar symbols are present on papyri and gems with magical texts. The reverse side of the foils is blank, and they are always rolled up in such a way that the text is inside, hidden from the public view. The magical symbols on the listed lamellae differ significantly. The ones on the silver specimen mostly fall under the category of characteres, symbols of great power. It is unclear what they actually meant, or if the Romans even ascribed a specific meaning to each symbol. It is quite possible that the power of symbols of great power written in its margins. It is quite possible that the power of characters lay in their unknown mysterious symbolism. What seems to be their main role is to unlock the magic to help for the invocation, to help in the invocation of supernatural beings. Some authors propose that the multiply intersecting lines on one of them may be recognized as astral signs and associated with the solar system, deities, and the cosmos, possibly depicted as circles. Thus, the symbols appears to invoke in a specific way solar deities expected to provide peace and tranquility during life and especially after death, believed to be readable only by gods. Whatever is the case, what is evident regarding this example from Viminacium, we do not have a text explaining what is wanted from these supernatural entities, which is usual way of making both prophylactic and curse amulets, where characteres are added to ensure that the process is successful, as we can observe in this famous example from Rome, where we have text and then several characteres. Maybe here in Viminacium we are dealing with an illiterate or quasi-literate magician, or maybe even a hoax. The third case, containing a lamella, comes from a grave in the eastern necropolis. It is cylindrical in shape, made of silver sheet metal with 2 looped bands for attachment, and it was found between the right shoulder and the skull, along with the bronze bulla. The deceased was laid on his back, with hands placed on the abdomen, and it is possible that this burial was in wooden coffin also, because we have found several iron nails, and there was also an iron ring on the chest. The gender and age of the deceased are unknown due to poor preservation of the bones, and lamella inside of it was detected only recently and is currently undergoing preliminary examinations. It seems that it is inscribed with text in Greek. In addition to the 4 lamellae we have presented, 3 others were found that were not enclosed in cases. 2 scrolled silver lamellae were discovered in a grave constructed of horizontally bricks in 6 rows, and the grave cover was made also of bricks. The inner walls of the coffin were coated with a layer of lime mortar, and inside of the coffin there was a female laid on her back. The lamellae were located near the left side of the thigh bone, along with glass beads and bronze and silver bullae. In the neck area, more glass beads, parts of necklace, were found, along with 2 gold earrings with purple stones. Also, a bronze coin of Julia Domna that dates this grave to the beginning of the 3rd century. There was also a silver ring, 3 bronze-plated circular ornaments, and fragments of glass toiletry bottle. These lamellae are in very poor state of preservation. The 3rd lamella, without a case, was found in the burial of a child in a light coffin on the southern necropolis. The lamella was folded multiple times to form a small square with dimensions of 1 times 1 centimeters and was found beneath the child's skull. The light coffin was decorated in relief and both the lid and the long and short sides had twisted and multiply intersecting lines. The child's skeleton was in lay down position on its back with arms alongside the body. Bones were in very fragile state. Remains of organic materials belonging to leather, footwear, and whitish fabric, likely a shroud covering the deceased, were found along the entire skeleton. Besides the lamella, a bronze coin, a thin gold wire earring, and a bronze coin with 3 perforations, possibly used as a pendant, were found near the jaw. A larger gold foil pendant in the shape of a pelt, the shield of Amazons, was found on the chest. So besides the prophylactic lamella, we also have one more amulet here, the shield that had a clear role of defense against malevolent entities. On the right hand, there was a twisted snake-shaped gold ring, and on the left hand, 2 more gold rings.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. You're already on 15 minutes, so
okay. Thank you very much. All of these 3 lamella are currently under conservation and thus have not been fully read. And the question is whether they will ever be given the poor condition. The remaining 3 tubuli found in graves were empty. It is possible that due to damage, they lost their original contents over time, and maybe those contents were of organic nature, so they have not been preserved. The first one, hexagonal in cross-section and made of silver sheet with 2 rings for attachment, was found within the skull of the deceased, who was buried on the back. We do not know the gender, but this person was approximately 25 years old. The second are fragments of pendant-shaped tubulars made of thin silver with looped bands. There was a grave of an adult person. We don't know the gender. And also it had 1 more tubulus made of bronze that were larger. And these cylindrical boxes are actually sometimes containing needles in cemeteries of Viminacium, so it shouldn't be considered as a second amulet, but probably a utilitarian object. And the last silver tubulus was also found empty in the southern necropolis, likely belonging to a disturbed grave layer containing coins dated to the 2nd and 3rd century CE. It can be argued that these tubuli served as a type of amulet case containing organic or mineral components with specific symbols or healing properties. If these specimens contain such materials, they are most comparable to bullas, these circle-shaped containers used for similar purposes. 2 of Viminacium examples were found of tubuli were found together with bullae. Unlike bullae, which had a generally accepted shape and continue to be used beyond antiquity, miniature tubular capsules are rarer and chronologically limited. As we saw, additionally, scrolled lamellae with magical inscriptions could also be stored in tubulous containers. Based on anthropological analysis of skeletons from Viminacium graves, we found out that they were worn by children and women, particularly individuals in poor health. These were the most vulnerable population groups in need of protection, highly susceptible to illness and therefore to mortality. This type of pendant is depicted in Fayum mummy portraits. Whether they were worn during life, the Fayum portraits cannot answer, as these portraits show people depicted on mummies, idealized images in their finest clothing and jewelry, intended to preserve the memory of the deceased. Specific texts on lamellae, predisposing them for curing particular diseases, show that they were worn during their life, but after that, they maintained their prophylactic function, protecting the deceased in the afterlife. Specimens from Viminacium date to the late 2nd and 3rd centuries AD, when the city experienced its greatest economic prosperity and was a kind of metropolis in the on the Roman frontiers. The city's prominence during that period attracted people from various parts of the empire, bringing with them customs, beliefs, ritual, and ceremonies, contributing to the expansion of a multicultural community. We know that the practice of using these kinds of amulets originated in eastern provinces, but what we do not know at the moment is whether these were solely used by people originating from these parts or by the locals as well. We hope to gain answers through comprehensive analysis of ancient DNA that are currently being conducted on material from Viminacium. What is evident, on the other hand, is that the custom exists through vertical axis of society, regardless of economic status. Only one find is dated to the 4th century. Evidently, the custom faded during the late antiquity period, and unlike bullae, which continued to be used, tubular amulet cases faded out of the existence. Thank you very much.